Hi, BPTCN, I'm Pastor Ernest. During this period, there's much fear in the hearts of many, and many cases has happened in many places like NTUC, kindergartens, the foreign dormitory, and Safra clubs, and so on. No place seems to be safe. So where is the best place? Where's the safest place that we can go? To me, the Lord reminded me of something. That is, the best place is to be in the presence of God. And two passages came to my mind. Psalms 46, especially verse 10. Psalms 46, verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I'm God." It is interesting that in this passage itself, there were three verses that mention about the presence of God. In verse 5, God is in the midst of her. In verse 7, the Lord of hosts, that is Jehovah Sabaoth, is with us. And verse 11, the Lord of hosts is with us. So it's about the presence of God, and that's the best place we can go. In verse 10, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." So as we consider Him, we know Him, we remember Him and acknowledge that He is loving, He's caring, as well as He's powerful. In verse 1, it says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." A very present help in trouble means His help is abundantly available. So our God is very, very loving and gracious. So we must remember that. And besides, of course, we know that He's all powerful. Even there's earthquakes and mountains be carried into the sea, and so on and so forth. And even with the present situation, He's our refuge. So the best place is to be in His presence. How can we be still before God? Well, we can worship Him, we can pray, we can also read the verses, claim verses, and declare verses with faith. But at times we could just be still before God and just hear Him. I just want to share a testimony that happens to my life some years back that is really unforgettable. Some years back, when I was still leading the Hokkien service, there was 2 weeks of heart pain. It was a gripping pain on my heart, and I just felt the pain daytime and nighttime, especially at night. It was so painful that I could not sleep, and I was perspiring. And then I went to see a doctor, and this doctor told me, you take this pill, and if you take it within 10 minutes, if there is no more pain, then you may have some kind of a heart attack in future. So I was quite worried, and sure enough, after 10 minutes, my pain went off, but then my fear came in. So then one night, I was in the Hokkien service. I was standing behind in Hall 1, and the pain came back and was terrible. So I remember what the doctor said, that if it come back and it's very bad, you may have to go to the A&E in the hospital immediately. So I told Pastor Sharon, I said, "Sharon, please take care of the Hokkien service. If anything happened to me, I leave it all to you and Pastor Paul." At the same time, I give a call to my wife, and she was on the way back from Malaysia in a coach from a staff retreat. So I said, "Dear, if anything happened to me and if I'm gone, please take care of the kids." And the next thing I did was to close my eyes and be silent, be still before God. And I asked the Lord. And I told Him, I said, "Father, if you want to take me away, I'm willing. But I will miss my children. So Father, please show me. And then the Lord gave me the picture of both my kids growing up into adulthood. And then my faith rose up, and as a result, the pain went off over time. So be still before Him. The second passage is found in Isaiah 58, especially so in 7 to from verse 7 to verse 8. Here God was rebuking the Jews for their falsehood in their fasting. They're supposed to fast properly, but instead they did the opposite. So let me just quickly share here. God was saying, is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? So God's desire for us is to love the poor and needy. And when we love the poor and needy, God is touched by our love, our true love for Him. And what was mentioned later on, that here God says, in verse, here God says that then your light shall break forth like the morning, your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be with your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer, and you shall cry, and He will say, here am I. It is the presence of God, it is the glory of God that will cover you. So, in conclusion, be still before the Lord, hear what He has to say, get into His presence, draw near to Him in love as you touch the lives of others, and do not forget to also share the gospel with others. Shalom.